today, DZMJ right now is with us is His Excellency Ra Muhammad Gamal Mamay Hassan Abdul Rajab, also known as Sultan Gamar bin Abdul Gapar of Sabah, Malaysia, and of course the Sultan of the Zulu, North Borneo, and the King of Southeast Asia. Of course, with him is also Her Excellency the Queen Maria Makiling Helen Fatima Nazaria Panolino Abdul Rajak of the Lupah. Good day, DZMJ.
Hello, thank you so much for inviting us again for this very important interview, and good day to all our televiewers of the DZMJ Makabuluhang Journalism.
Good evening to everybody. Welcome to the DZMJ Makabuluhang Journalism.
Yes, we have the very vital talk again for the revealing of truth in our country, and my first question for His Royal Highness is, what really happened now that Mapilindo's died?
What matters now is the authority back to the King and Queen of the Royal Imperial Lupah Islamic United Kingdom of Sulu and North Borneo. The 5 years grace period given to the government of Malaysia, government of the Philippines, Indonesia, Brunei, Singapore, and including those that has been part of the Mapilindo Agreement. We are here imposing now that the authority is indeed with the Royal Empire. So what happens? They have to follow the rule of law. They have to follow the King and Queen because the sovereign court is also intact. The new country has been installed and proclaimed throughout the world, the Federal Republic of Lupah.
Yes, I need reaction from the King.
Good evening. It is very impetus that the two countries who block the entry of our Federal Republic of Lupah, the Philippine government and Indonesia, they are the one not to let out the King and Queen. So we advise them not to follow the blockage, but they have to obey the rules of law that the Mapilindo already ended. They must have to obey what is the treaty and agreement already done, already expired. So we must have together and make a big gate for the ASEAN, for the livelihood of the ASEAN country. Welcome to all.
Now we break the chain and also to reveal the truth of having the Lupah in our country. Of course, with us is the King and Queen. My second question is the present situation right now in our country, the Philippines, is what is the real agenda that right now the President of China, Xi Jinping, is with our country, and I don't know if it's just a sugarcoating that they have the infrastructure agreement, loan agreement with our country for the $9 billion certain to be loaned by our country to the China. Any reaction for that, or do you have any other agenda why really the President of China is here in our country?
President Xi Jinping has been looking the grandson. Sultan Mamay is the Sultan of Sulu and North Borneo and the King of Southeast Asia. Upon the expiration of the Mapilindo Agreement,
It's very touchy. Look at
yes, because they are really bounded to find us because the treaty has already expired, and that they cannot make any development, any agreement, anything in this country, including Malaysia and Indonesia, because they are covered now with the new government, the new governance, the sovereign court of the Royal Imperial Lupah. So the President must know also that Xi Jinping is aware of who we are, because there is nothing impossible for the China government to find us. In fact, as a royal family, I had been trying to reach them, and that many investors from China. Of course, that is also direct from the government of China. So for me, Xi Jinping is aware, and the loan is not agreeable to us because we do not need to loan. We have so much money deposited in the government, in the Bank of China, as done and made by our former President Ferdinand Edurlin Marcos. So what we need, what Xi Jinping need, is the signatory. What the President of the Philippines must know is also to find the real signatory, which is us, the holder of the mother account, and the grandson, the Sultan of Sulu and North Borneo. So I thereby asked, if the President will not find us, then no development will happen and no loan will be resolved and given, because that is controlled by the World Bank as well as by the IMF. So if there is really the loan, then we will know.
How about you, King?
We don't have to agree with the Philippine government to loan 9 billion to US,
To China.
the China.
9 billion.
We know during the former President Ferdinand Marcos that there is a LOI between late Mao Zedong and Marcos, that Marcos loaned to China with a metric ton of gold and diamond in 1974. So what will happen after 20 years? How look like China is now a very, very beautiful and
Very progressive country.
very progressive because of the between the Philippines and China. Mao Zedong and Marcos have a LOI in 1974. Why should we loan? That is not correct. We, the Filipino people, we are more intelligent. We cannot be blind by the House of Congress, by the House of Senate, and the OPAC. And Dorisa, you must not proceed to the peace talk. No more peace talk. When I come to Malaysia, I have to reverse the claim that Philippines belong to Sabah. No longer Sabah belong to Philippines. So you don't have the sovereignty. You should not be governed anymore. Back to jail.
Yeah, speaking of OPAP, can you enlighten us or give us the background of having that documentary book of King and Queen of Lupah that you sent to lower house and upper house of our country here in the Philippines last August 2012 in relation of the creation of the Office of Presidential Advisor on Peace Process, or the creation of OPAP, and still existing right now?
That is very crucial book, because from there they have derived their movement towards the framework agreement, to the Bangsamoro Basic Law, to Manila Accord, and now they are trying to make it the Bangsamoro Organic Law.
The BBL right now.
The BBL and the BOL right now. So that book is a documentary wherein we know that war is a business in this country, especially in Mindanao, Sulu, Palawan, Sabah, Sarawak, and up to Indonesia. So I thereby asked that book must be out. You have all the right, media people, to find it, because that is very important for you to know the existing conspiracy in this movement of OPAP. The funders are always there. The Malaysian funders are always there. The war, they are there. OPAP, I remind you, the former Delis, the chairman there, you are aware that during the war in Sabah, the Sabah standoff, we were there also, and we know what had happened. In Zamboanga standoff, we were there to stop that. Yes, we were inside the war zone, and we know who are the players that has been paid by the OPAP and the messenger of Malaysia. We know that. And now, I should say, this is the time that we must face the truth. The truth is like a two-edged sword. You have to face justice, and justice shall be served soon. If President Duterte will not adhere, I have been sending a lot of documentary letters, officials. Do not belittle my capacity as the Queen. Do not laugh to the Sultan Sulu, being the grandson. We had been monitoring your speeches. enough is enough. This is our rule, this is our time. The peace talk, because we have already done our job and the new country has been installed and proclaimed. You have no more right and authority to make black propaganda in Mindanao, in Sulu, and Palawan.
How about you, King? And especially the Opa crowd now is in some of the personality there is Murad.
We know Murad. Murad is installed appointed by Chairman Mishwari when Hasim Salamat was dying. And MLF is just one banana. So they cannot get what they want unless they find the true Sultan of Sulu, which is me. They are only considered as a royal military. They cannot govern. As what did in 1939 when King Pat gave them support to establish the RSF, Royal Special Force, to Chairman Mishwari, and the Saudi Arabia king gave funds to organize the RSF. What Mishwari did, instead of Royal Special Force, they do it regional security forces. So Mishwari was advised by the King Pad to King Abdullah, bring the true Sultan of Sulu, which is me, because the relation with the King Abdullah and my grandfather, my grandma is the sister, the brother is King Pad, King Abdullah. That's why
The royal lineage.
the Raja Anang, which is called Haji Hasan Pasang, married to the sister of King Pad. That's why the Saudi Arabia was named Saudiya binti Saud. That is the name of my grandma, the mother of my mother. That's why Mishwari is a big mistake. And also Murad. Murad, you are just like Hasim Salamat. Yasil Harapat. You know what they did Yasil Harapat? They are not that, they are half Arab. His mother is Australian. His father is Arab. So what did Arafat? They get his independent to Palestine 7 feet below the ground. Much more you Murad. Same thing, you follow Yasser Arafat. And now, where is Mishwari? Any one of you want to, you said that, any one of you to challenge me. Secretary Doresa, please call me. My number is 24 hours. And I will let you to see the real Mishwari. Do not try to implement anymore the peace talk. OPAP is illegal. I know there are two Duterte. One Duterte is cannot move. The one is Duterte, they move, but not the real one. Now I have to challenge you. I know the true Duterte. Do not make two Duterte. Even Chairman Mishwari already gone. Even tobacco, FPL already died. 2005, the real tobacco is already died. Because if he is true tobacco, why they were not the cigar, they were not fire the cigar. The cigar is that they will just smell it. So it's not the real one. So we advise the destructive CIA to support the collective because we want to welcome all the United Nations and the NATO and the UN to support the King and Queen for the new gate to open the development and livelihood of the Philippine Island.
Very, very heavy and a shocking revelation. The big conspiracy with us for the King and Queen, for the top personality in the country right now, the country of the Philippines. For that big revelation, what is the big challenges now of the King and Queen of Lupah, that you have a lot of detractor and lots of conspiracy to fight for the truth and to give the progressive nation and to give the decent job to every Filipino citizen.
Princess MJ, I am a believer. My unwavering faith will always help me find the truth. If you have the truth as your armor, you can always go and implement justice, because that is always partnered. So now the challenge is how to stand and defend what Raja Mamay has declared right now. Because conspiracy is always on the top. The top, always the machinators, always the manipulators. So the challenge is in the hands of the Queen to pacify, to neutralize, to equalize. Because no matter what they do, the backup of every country, the gold is with us. When we start to remove the backup, they will have to plead and beg for mercy for their people, for our people. Because I had been working 9 years. I had been doing my job day and night, always for the benefit of the humanity, especially the sovereign people of the Philippines, of the sovereign people of the Royal Empire, of the Royal Imperial Lupah Islamic United Kingdom of Sulu and North Brunei. The Queen is the mother that would always find a way to help the children. That's why we have so much to do, and the challenge is always there, but with our faith and with the hope putting into reality, I'm sure we will win. I am a winner, and the winner takes it all.
Now this is a final warning to the ABS-CBN and GMA. Please do not establish the wrong news, the fake news, because once you establish the fake news, the Filipino people is more intelligent. They cannot be black anymore. The Filipino is more intelligent because we are the descendant of Usinisa. Regarding the Spratly, there are only 2 C that recorded in the Book of World Record under Volume 1-A, Pentagon File, Washington, D.C. Sulu Sea and China Sea. On the side of the Sulu Sea, there are 9 islands. 7 islands belong to Sulu Sea. The 2 islands belong to China Sea. That's why the China create a new island, which is Spratly, where the soil taken from the Tawi-Tawi Tumbagaan mountain. Now they make it an artificial island. So the payment of the 30 BUSD under my name, the president should have, instead of loaning to China, they must have to get back the payment of the 30 BUSD for us to develop the whole Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Rather we loan, because the payment to be given to the true Sultan of Sulu in North Borneo, which is I, Raja Gamal Muhammad Mamay Hassan Abdul, is the legitimate Sultan of Sulu in North Borneo.
The legitimate heir.
Heirs in succession.
Congratulations, Raja.
That is another declaration from the King Mamay. Very shocking and very touchy revelation from the King. So this is protection for our country, especially for the love of Filipino people, like the Queen, the mother, not to have a burden of Filipino people, but for have the seed of a seed of truth, seed of prosperity, and unblock the chains of desperate, unblock the chains of poverty.
Right. Thank you so much. We know that this is another nuclear bomb for the entire world to see, because what we stand is truth, and what we want is justice. The challenge of a lifetime. This is Queen Maria Makiling Helen Fatima Nazaria Panulino Abdurrajak and Raja Muhammad Kamar Mamay Hassan Abdurrajak, the King and Queen of the Royal Imperial Lupah Islamic United Kingdom of Sulu and North Brunei.
Very shocking revelation. Another, this season is another revelation. What will be the best thing will be happen to our country under the ministry, under the empire of Lupah. Again, this is MJ Albina Balaguer of DZMJ Online, makabuluhang journalism.